Hey, what's up, guys? Welcome to the channel. At UFC 270, Ciryl Gane was defeated by Francis Ngannou in the main event, and this was his first ever pro MMA defeat. He is now 10-1, and as soon as the fight ended, people were already speculating what could be next for Ciryl Gane. Who would his next opponent be? So I've decided to make a matchmaker video for Ciryl Gane. I'm going to give you three potential matchups. I'm going to go from 3-1, 3 being the least likely, 1 being the most likely in terms of what the UFC is likely to do next. But I think all these matchups are in the realm of possibility. But when you really look at the heavyweight division, and I've talked about it before, it's the worst men's division in all of the UFC. It's just not deep at all. You get outside of that top 5 and things are looking very bleak. It's not the greatest division. And on top of that, Ciryl Gane has been so active. He has a win over a lot of these guys. Just in 2021 alone, he fought 3 times. He defeated number 6, Jairzinho Rozenstruik. He defeated number 5, Alexander Volkov. And he defeated number 3, Derek Lewis, most recently, and I think it was August, for the interim heavyweight title. So he's fought a lot of these guys, so there really wasn't a lot of options, but I came up with 3 potential options. If you guys enjoy these videos, make sure to like the video, make sure to subscribe to the channel if you aren't already. So let's go to option number 3, what I think is the least likely of the 3 options, and that is Ciryl Gane versus Jon Jones. I think this is a possibility depending on what goes on with Francis Ngannou next. The contract situation is kind of up in the air. He may sit out for a year. He may end up walking away from the UFC. He may go off to boxing. So if that's the case, there's a chance that the UFC would book Ciryl Gane. He's the guy that's most recently fought for the heavyweight title. And they could book him against Jon Jones making his heavyweight debut. And they could do this for a vacant heavyweight title or an interim heavyweight title. Because you also got to think about Francis Ngannou and the knee injury. He might need surgery. Who knows how long he's going to be out, even if he does re-sign with the UFC. So there's a chance you could have an interim heavyweight title between Ciryl Gane and Jon Jones maybe this summer, or you could have a vacant heavyweight title if Francis Ngannou moves on to other things, which I hope he doesn't. I want to see him stick around and defend the title. But I would love this matchup. Any matchup with Jon Jones at heavyweight is a fight that I want to see. I've been wanting him to debut for what seems like 10 years now. I think a lot of people would agree with me. You want to see Jon Jones at heavyweight. And what tougher test can you give him than Ciryl Gane? Honestly, he's super well-rounded, has a high fight IQ, obviously needs to work on his takedown defense and his grappling a little bit and his jiu-jitsu off his back. But I still think this would be a great first test for Jon Jones. And for some of the people who say Jon Jones needs to fight somebody at heavyweight before getting a title shot, I think a lot of those people would absolutely love this fight. Because if Jones beats Ciryl Gane, there's no doubt he deserves a title shot next after that fight. So I would love this matchup. Don't think it's super likely, though. So as far as the second matchup, I think this would be a great fight, and I would really enjoy this fight. And that is Ciryl Gane versus Stipe Miocic. Both guys coming off losses to Francis Ngannou. Stipe Miocic lost the title to Francis Ngannou in March and hasn't fought since. Ciryl Gane just getting the first loss of his pro MMA career against Francis Ngannou at UFC 270. I think it makes perfect sense. Ciryl Gane's ranked number 1. Stipe Miocic ranked number 2. And theoretically, you know, if you do Francis Ngannou versus Jon Jones next, which a lot of people think that's what's going to happen, you could do Stipe Miocic versus Ciryl Gane, and then you could have the winners of those fights fight each other next. And I personally would love this fight. I think it's a very compelling matchup. Stipe Miocic is very well-rounded. He has great wrestling, good striking, good knockout power. He's durable, has good stamina. And I would love to see him take on a guy like Ciryl Gane. And I know Stipe has said, you know, he only wants to fight for a title. A lot of people consider him the consensus GOAT heavyweight in the UFC at least. I would love to see him get one fight in and then earn that title shot back against Francis Ngannou or whoever may be UFC champion at that point in time. And Ciryl Gane would be a very tough test to see where he's at after that brutal KO loss to Francis Ngannou just last year in March. And then Ciryl Gane, that'd be a good way to prove that maybe he shored up some of these deficiencies in his wrestling, because against any of these guys that he fights next, I know people have already seen now the blueprint that Francis Ngannou has laid, which is if you want to beat Ciryl Gane, take him down and hold him down, control him on the ground. And I would be very interested to see, has Ciryl Gane improved? Because Stipe Miocic has a high fight IQ. He comes in with good game plans. I think he would come in, look to take Ciryl Gane down, hold him down, control him on the ground. And I'd be curious to see how Ciryl Gane, you know, adapted to that strategy to beat him. So I think that'd be a fun matchup. I think that's very likely as well. My number 1 matchup, and the matchup I think makes a lot of sense right now, is Ciryl Gane versus Curtis Blaydes. Curtis Blaydes currently ranked number 4. Ciryl Gane has not fought him before. Depending on what happens with the division, it's hard to really, say, okay, this one's definitely going to happen or this is definitely going to happen. But I really think this makes a lot of sense in the scheme of the division. Curtis Blaydes is a number 4 ranked guy. He's considered, an elite heavyweight. I know he's been KO'd by Derek Lewis, but he's still right up there with the rest of those guys. And to be honest, I want to see Ciryl Gane's wrestling tested, and this is one of the few guys that he hasn't fought. You look at the top 5, and other than Stipe and now Curtis Blaydes, there's nobody in the top 5 that he hasn't fought. And that's just the, what's going on within the heavyweight division. He's fought a lot of these guys. He's been so active, and I would love to see him against Curtis Blaydes, because if Curtis Blaydes can come out there and beat Ciryl Gane, then we have a new contender in the heavyweight division. And with the heavyweight division being so shallow, it's not a deep division at all. Curtis Blaydes could be 2 fights away from a potential heavyweight title shot. I mean, Derek Lewis has had how many title shots now? 2, I think. 1 against DC and then 1 an interim title shot against Ciryl Gane last year. He just beat Chris Daukaus, and now there's people already talking about Derek Lewis. If he beats Tai Tuivasa, he's right back to a title. So if Curtis Blaydes can go out there and defeat a guy like Ciryl Gane, there's no doubt in my mind he would be right on the short list of up-and-coming heavyweight contenders. It'd be a little bit weird right now because Francis Ngannou is the champion who's already beat Curtis Blaydes twice. But again, the division is not very deep. We're in need of contenders. So you're not too far away from a heavyweight title shot. A win or 2 will get you right in that heavyweight title shot discussion. Tai Tuivasa may beat Derek Lewis up and coming, and then Derek Lewis is kind of off the board. And then who knows, Tai Tuivasa could be right there at a title shot, and he's not even ranked in the top 10 currently. So there's a lot of ways to kind of mess with this heavyweight top 5. I think there's a lot of great fights for Ciryl Gane. My personal favorite fight of all of them, I like the Curtis Blaydes fight. It answers a lot of questions I would love to see, strategy-wise, because Curtis Blaydes, we know he wants to take you down and beat you up on the ground. He has nasty ground and pound. Look what he did to Alistair Overeem. I would love to see how Ciryl Gane adapted to that. I love that fight, but I think my favorite fight would be Ciryl Gane versus Stipe Miocic. I think that fight makes a lot of sense. It could be a number 1 contender fight while Ngannou fights Jon Jones. So let me know what you guys think in the comments. Don't forget to like the video, and thank you so much for watching.